You reach across the table. Your fingers brush her wrist. A simple gesture, right? Wrong. It's a disaster. Touch is not about skin hitting skin. Touch is an energy transfer. And right now, you are leaking. Look at the modern landscape. A dimly lit restaurant in New York or London. The blue light of a smartphone flickering on the mahogany. You see a man sitting across from a woman. He is leaning in too far. His eyes are searching for validation. He's talking too much, filling the silence with nervous static. Then he does it. He reaches for her hand. She flinches. Just a fraction of an inch. He didn't see it, but she felt it. She felt the ghost in the room, the ghost of neediness. Most men approach touch like a predator or a beggar. The predator takes. The beggar asks. Neither wins the heart of a mature woman. A woman who has lived, loved, and been disappointed knows the difference between a man who wants her and a man who needs her to feel like a man. The modern world has robbed you of your stillness. You feel the itch to move, the urge to do something. You think that if you don't touch her, you'll lose her. But here is the Stoic truth. You lose her the moment you fear losing her. Musonius Rufus once said that the man who cannot control his impulses is a slave. And in this moment, your hand is a slave to your anxiety. You aren't touching her because you are connected. You are touching her to see if she's still there. That is not attraction. That is a distress signal. And she's a high-value woman? She reads signals better than you read this script. She doesn't want a fan, she doesn't want a hunter, she wants a mountain, something unmoving, something safe. But how do you become the mountain when your heart is racing? How do you touch her without reaching? The answer lies in a psychological shift that 99% of men will never understand. A shift that turns a simple brush of the shoulder into an electric shock that haunts her thoughts for days. But before we master the hand, we must master the mind. Modern dating is a storm of noise. You've been told to perform. You've been told that if you aren't talking, you are losing. You think silence is a hole you need to fill with words, jokes, or awkward touches. But look at her, a woman who has navigated the chaos of her 30s and 40s. She has heard every pickup line. She has seen every move. She is exhausted by the noise. What she hasn't seen is a man who is comfortable in the silence. Imagine a storm at sea. The waves are crashing, the wind is howling, and in the middle of it all, there is a lighthouse. It doesn't move. It doesn't scream for attention. It just shines. That is Stoic presence. To touch a woman like this, you must first be okay with never touching her at all. You must master the art of non-action. Epictetus taught us that we should behave in life as we do at a banquet. When something is passed to you, reach out and take a moderate share. If it hasn't reached you yet, do not burn with desire. Wait for it to come. Most men are burning. They are leaning in, checking their phones, tapping their feet. Their energy is flickering, and a flickering light provides no warmth. Presence is not a performance. Presence is not a strategy. Presence is a state of being. When you sit across from her, grounded like an ancient oak, you create a psychological vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. Because you are not rushing to fill the space, she will feel an irresistible urge to lean into it. She will look for the source of your gravity. This is the first rule of the Stoic touch. Your touch only has value if it is an extension of your peace, not a cure for your anxiety. If your hand is trembling with the need for her approval, stay still. If your mind is racing with what comes next, stay still. When you finally do move, and we will get to the how in a moment, it must be with the weight of a mountain. It is a slow, deliberate choice. It is the touch of a man who is already whole, offering her a piece of his strength. But where do you place that strength first? Is it the hand? The arm? The answer is much more subtle. It starts at a point 99% of men completely ignore, a point that communicates safety and dominance at the same time. Most men treat touch like a light switch, on or off, 0 or 100. They go for the grand gesture, the forced handhold, the clumsy arm around the waist. That is not calibration. That is an invasion. A Stoic knows that the smallest move often carries the most weight. Let's talk about the gateways. First, the shoulder. Most men think the shoulder is for friends. They are wrong. When you are walking through a crowded bar, do not grab her. Do not pull her. Place one hand, flat, firm, warm, on the back of her shoulder. Do not push. Just exist there. It's a signal. It says, I am here. I am the barrier between you and the chaos. 2 seconds. Then take it away. Leave a vacuum. Let her feel the cold where your hand used to be. Second, the elbow. This is the most underrated tool in your arsenal. When you are guiding her to a table, a light touch on the outer elbow is a masterpiece of subtlety. It's not a shove. It's not a pull. It's a guide. It communicates dominance without aggression. It shows you know exactly where you are going. And a woman who is tired of making decisions will instinctively trust the man who knows the path. Third, the lower back, the danger zone. If you go here too early, you are a predator. If you go here too late, you are a ghost. The Stoic timing is everything. Wait for the moment she laughs. When her guard is down and her energy is high, a brief, firm touch on the small of her back as you move past her. Do not linger. Do not creep. It should feel like a lightning strike, gone before she can process why her heart just skipped a beat. You see, modern men are obsessed with reaching, but the Stoic masters allowing. You are not reaching for her. You are creating a reality where she wants to be reached. Marcus Aurelius wrote, accept the things to which fate binds you. If fate binds you to this moment, do not ruin it with haste. A mature woman doesn't want your speed. She wants your certainty. But there is a trap that kills 90% of connections right at this stage. Even if you master these 3 points, there is one thing, one psychological shiver, that most men get wrong. They fail to understand the difference between contact and connection. And if you fail this, the shoulder, the elbow, and the back, they mean nothing. So, what is the trap? What is the one mistake that turns a perfect moment into an awkward memory? It's the reaction seek. You touch her shoulder or her elbow, and then you do the worst thing possible. You look at her face to see if she liked it. You are searching for a smile. You are hunting for a sign of approval. In that split second, you have ceased to be a man of Stoic peace. You have become a beggar. You are asking, am I doing okay? Do you still like me? She feels it. And the tension, the beautiful electric tension you built, collapses. For a woman over 35, attraction is not built on excitement alone. It is built on safety. But don't misunderstand safety for boredom. Safe tension is the feeling that you are in total control of yourself, so she can finally lose control of herself. Think of the heat of your hand. A man who is nervous has cold, clammy skin. His touch feels like a ghost's. But a Stoic man? His blood is steady. His hand is warm, firm, unmoving. When you touch the small of her back, she should feel the literal warmth of your presence. It's not just skin. It's a promise of stability. This is the psychological shiver. It's the moment she realizes that you aren't trying to get anything from her. You aren't touching her to move to the bedroom. You aren't touching her to prove you're an alpha. You are touching her because you are the fireplace and she is the one seeking the warmth. Seneca wrote, he is most powerful who has power over himself. In the modern world, everything is fast. Everything is reactive. Men swipe fast, talk fast, and touch fast. They are like flickering candles in a gale. But you are the mountain. When you establish safe tension, you're telling her nervous system, I am the one thing in your world that does not need anything from you. That is the most intoxicating drug a mature woman can ever experience. It creates a pull so strong it feels like gravity. But there is one final stage, the transition from the physical to the soul. Because a touch that only stays on the skin is just biology. A touch that reaches the heart, that is destiny. How do you make that final leap? How do you move from the shoulder and the back to a connection that she will feel in her soul long after the night is over? The answer isn't in your hands. It's in the one thing you've been taught to hide your whole life. That is the most intoxicating drug a mature woman can ever experience. It creates a pull so strong it feels like gravity. But let's go deeper. Because safe tension is not just about your hands, it is about your internal citadel. In the modern world, men are taught to be mirrors. If she is cold, you get cold. If she is distant, you chase. You are reflecting her chaos instead of providing your order. Marcus Aurelius warned us about this. He said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are colored by the fear of her rejection, your touch will feel like a leash. If your thoughts are colored by the need for her attention, your touch will feel like a weight. If your thoughts are colored by the search for her approval, your touch will feel like a cage. She doesn't want to be leashed, weighed down, or caged. She wants to be anchored. Think about the silence between you. To a weak man, silence is a vacuum that must be filled with nervous energy. To a stoic man, silence is a canvas. When you touch her arm and then look away, into the distance, into the future, or simply into the present moment, without saying a word, you are showing her that your happiness does not depend on her reaction. It is not a game. It is not a tactic. It is a profound realization that you are already enough. When a woman feels that you don't need the moment to go anywhere, she finally feels free to let it go everywhere. This is the transition. This is where the physical body ends and the spiritual connection begins. Most men spend their lives studying moves. They master the shoulder, the elbow, the back, but they never master themselves. They are guests in her life, waiting for permission to stay. But the Stoic? He is the host. He creates the environment. He sets the temperature. And now you are ready for the final leap. The moment where you stop being two bodies in a room and start being one force of nature. It's the moment of the ultimate surrender. But beware. This final stage requires something most men have been taught to kill inside themselves since they were children. He didn't drop the sword because he lost. He dropped it because he won. The ultimate surrender. Not to the enemy outside, to the ghost inside. You've been fighting the wrong war? You think your boss, your ex, or your bank account is the opponent? They aren't. They are just shadows on the wall. The real enemy is the man you see in the mirror at 3 a.m., the one who refuses to let go, the one who thinks control is safety. Your knuckles are white from gripping a rope that's already been cut. Let it go. Feel the cold air hit your palms. That isn't failure. That's freedom. Stoicism isn't about becoming a stone. It's about becoming the river that the stone can't stop. The surrender is the power. Once you stop needing to win, you can no longer be defeated. Now, look at your hands. What are you still holding on to? And why? If this silence feels uncomfortable, it's because you needed to hear it. Drop a "done" in the comments if you're ready to let go. Subscribe if you're tired of fighting ghosts.